Extremely disturbing new developments in the case of a missing mom in Utah. Is her husband stonewalling police? The missing woman's husband, Josh Powell, has now hired a prominent criminal defense attorney. Also, the husband was a no-show for a scheduled police interview, and cops say he is now hindering their investigation. Susan Powell vanished from her house Sunday, December 6th, with her purse, her phone, and her keys still inside the home. Her husband claims that very night he decided to take their sons, ages 2 and 4, on a camping trip around midnight. Temperatures were below freezing, and Josh said he and his little boys slept in a van.
I just go camping with my boys, you know, not anything big. I just go overnight, and we do s'mores and stuff like that. And so I just went with the boys. Was planning to do some s'mores in the morning, and we did. And then when we got home, on the way home, I found out that people were worried about us and that we were missing.
Josh did not show up for work the next day, which was a Monday. He says he simply got his days mixed up.
Why didn't you call in sick?
I was somehow thinking that it was Sunday. So I didn't go to church, and I just missed a day and thought, we'll come back Sunday.
So you got confused by on what day it was?
Yeah.
Very interesting. What about that wet spot in the Powell's living room? Police say when they first entered the home, there were 2 fans blowing air on the wet stain in the carpet, which they are now testing. So much to talk about with my fantastic expert panel. Don Clark, former FBI special agent in charge. Brenda Wade, clinical psychologist. Thanks for joining us. David Schwartz, criminal defense attorney and former New York prosecutor. And I'm very pleased to welcome Kiersey Helliwell, Susan Powell's very best friend. Kiersey, thank you so much for joining us. I know this has to be very, very difficult. We are talking with you in the hopes that somehow something we say might trigger some kind of break and solve this terrible, terrible mystery. My understanding is that you actually talked to Susan, your best friend, the very day she vanished, Sunday, December 6th. Tell us what you spoke about and what she was like.
Well, we had gone to church together. I didn't see her at church, and I just saw her walking out of the doors. And so we walked home together as far as my house, and then she just talked about her boys, because she had her little boys with her, and she was glad that they behaved really well, so she was able to enjoy the church. And that's basically all we said. I had no idea it was going to be the last time I would see her.
There's some conflicting reports as to what the husband's explanation was for why she didn't accompany him on the camping trip. Some say that he said that she wasn't feeling well, and he's quoted as saying, well, she just wanted to go to sleep. Did she mention anything about a camping trip to you?
Not at all. She didn't mention anything about that, and I don't think she knew about it at the time because they were both scheduled to be at work the next day.
The missing woman's husband, Josh, was asked about this camping trip the night Susan disappeared. Listen to what he said.
What time did you go camping, would you say?
I got out to a pretty late start.
9-ish, something like that?
No, it was later.
Where do you guys camp?
We went down south to some trails down there.
Do you mean like Moab area?
No. We actually just went down to the Pony Express.
Pony Express Trail?
Yeah.
Okay, are there campgrounds down there?
Yeah, I guess there would be.
So, yeah.
But I guess I better go.
Pony Express Trail, not to be confused with the Appalachian Trail. As Susan's best friend, you undoubtedly know her husband. What do you make of his story that he went camping around midnight Sunday, taking his 2- and 4-year-old sons with him? Even though it was sub-freezing temperatures, it was late at night, even though he was supposed to be at work the next morning, Monday, where he fails to show up and then doesn't call, saying he's gotten confused about the days.
It's absolutely unexplainable. I cannot understand it. and I know everybody's having a hard time believing it. I am myself having a hard time believing it, even though I'm Josh's friend and I want to stand by him. He has been known to go camping, and they always do sleep in their van. I don't think they have a tent. They have gone camping 3 or 4 times this summer, and it has been a spur-of-the-moment thing, but always on a Saturday morning. Never at night and never in the winter, so I cannot understand that.
Now, what about the state of their marriage? Because reports are that even Susan's father has said that they had marital problems, but they seem to be working through them. Friends say that they had problems involving finances, etc., and that at one point divorce was an issue that had been discussed, but that they had appeared to be putting all that behind them. What can you tell us about that?
They were very happy when they moved here 5 years ago. They've been married about 8 years, and probably about 2 years ago, things started kind of falling apart. And I'm not going to go into detail about why or what or anything. It just was bad enough that she was going to leave. It was about 1.5 years ago in the summer, and then she decided that she would try to work it out, and they have been working on it, and they both said that things were a lot better the last couple of months.
And we are looking at a candlelight visual of friends and neighbors and those who care, just gathering together in this very cold temperature to just offer their prayers in the hope that we can get Susan back safe and sound. Here is my big issue. Is Josh Powell hindering the investigation? Police say yes, but they have not named him a suspect. So my question is, why won't he talk? What is he afraid of?
I didn't do anything. I mean, I don't know where she's at. I don't even know where to start looking. Basically, I'm just trying to figure out what I can do, and both try to find her and try to take care of life in general.
So David Schwartz, he says he's trying hard to figure out what he could do. Well, it's simple. Talk to police. Now we learn he has hired a high-profile defense attorney, and he failed to show up for a scheduled appointment to talk to police yesterday. What do you make of it?
Well, from a criminal defense standpoint, Jane, of course, the bottom line is if you're the target of an investigation by the government, it doesn't matter what type of investigation, it doesn't matter who it involves, you should hire an attorney. That's what you should do when you're the target of an investigation. And unfortunately, anytime a woman disappears, the husband is the first person that's looked at. He's the first target of this investigation. And that's why you should hire an attorney.
This is still a missing persons case. We do not know what happened to Susan. But if forensic tests find her DNA in that carpet stain, Don Clark, doesn't that raise a whole series of questions? I mean, we're talking about a stain in the carpet with 2 fans on it when police burst into the home after she, and her husband for that matter, failed to show up at work on Monday. Could somebody have, think about the alternatives. Could somebody have slipped into the home when Josh and the kids were gone without forced entry, done something untoward to Susan, cleaned up the scene, found the family's 2 fans, put them on to dry the carpet, and then slipped out of the house, taking her or her body without anybody seeing anything? I mean, does that make any sense to you, Don?
Well, of course that kind of thing could happen, but under the circumstances...
It could? I don't think it could.
No. I'm saying that somebody could say that kind of thing happened. That's what I intended to say. But my point is, Jane, is that there's some real serious issues going on here already going on. And if by chance that there happens to be stains in that carpet, I doubt if it's going to be looking for an outsider unless somebody knows something different.
How long is it going to take them to do the test to find out if her DNA is on that carpet?
I don't think it will take very long, but I think they're going to want to be very sure, and it'll certainly take perhaps no longer than a week for them to go through and do all the tests that they need to make to be sure that it's
and remember, no matter how much you clean it up, DNA, very hard to eradicate.
That's right.
More on Susan Powell's suspicious disappearance in just a minute. And we're taking your calls on this mystery. What's your theory?